Hey there, how you doing? This is a message for Brian, Nico, Dustin and Mike. So I'm Paul Popplewell, and I was in 15 Million Mirrors, Black Mirror. Brian, Nico, Dustin, Mike, it's Paul again. Listen, I just want to apologise. The sound quality on that video I did you was terrible. I was out hiking. I'm now in my little camper van thing. We shot 15 Million Merits a million years ago, but it was great fun. It was great to be a part of it, and it's been amazing to watch it kind of go stratospheric, and Netflix pick it up, and you know, all these Hollywood stars are directing and starring in it now. Not that the British cast were amazing, you know, absolute stellar, the creme de la creme of some of the top British artists, and me. But it was good fun. Good luck with the podcast, and keep up the good work, and don't go out there.
They've conquered the big screen. Now, get ready for the spin-off sure to send chills down your spine. It's Nico, Brian, Mike, and Dustin in Don't Go Out There, the series.
Welcome back, everybody, to DGOT, the series. We really appreciate y'all listening. We hope y'all have been enjoying these series reviews. I know we have. It's been a lot of fun. Just want to give a quick shout out to our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Everything about our podcast is on the website. All of our episodes and interviews, if you want to check those out. We've done some incredible interviews in the past. Go check them out there in a specific tab by themselves, so you don't have to scroll through hundreds of episodes on Apple or Spotify, etc. We also have our store if you want to grab a shirt, a mouse pad, a hat, all that good stuff. We'd love to see your pictures, you know, rep your favorite podcast. And Shan's Etsy page is also attached if you want to grab a tumbler. All of our social media links are on there as well. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Like us, subscribe us, follow us, all that good stuff. And the last thing I want to shout out on our website is our Patreon. We call it Blood Donors. We have the traditional monthly reoccurring kind. If you want to support us, help us pay the bills, as we say. Or if there's a movie you want us to review, that option is available as well. Just check out our website, don'tgoouthere.com. Also, if you haven't noticed, we've recently joined the Believe Network. So there's some ads on our program now. But if you want ad-free content, go check us out on Blood Donors. The ad-free episodes will be available there. We appreciate your support. Continuing on with Black Mirror, episodes, 5 and 6 that we've chosen for this, or that Brian's chosen.
All right, you guys ready for the next episode? All right. 15 Million Merits. We open with a guy named Bing, played by the great Daniel Kaluuya, not Kahlua, that's an alcohol, sleeping in an all-black room, and then the walls turn to an animated video of a sunrise. We see he has over 15 million merits, and when he dispenses toothpaste, he loses a few. He heads to a room filled with stationary bikes and hops on one. As he pedals, we see his merits go up. Everyone in the room gets to pick their own interactive video to watch while they pedal, and a fellow named Dustin is enjoying his game a little too much for me. Annoying as fuck. When Bing tries to get an apple out of a vending machine, it doesn't drop, but a girl helps him retrieve it. He's not much for the chit-chat, but she seems to want to get to know him better, and even looks over at him, God, I can't read, while they're on the bikes again. Dustin is obnoxious as fuck and rude to the cleaning crew. That guy sucks. Brings shame to the name Dustin. Back in Bing's room, he's playing video games when a commercial for a singing competition show comes on his screen. He skips the ad, which causes him to lose merits. When a porn ad plays, he closes his eyes, but the screen pauses and keeps repeating, resume viewing, until he does. And he eventually skips it, resulting in more lost merits. The next day, on his way to spin class, a woman enters the elevator, and Bing seems to fancy her. Later, as Bing is draining the main vein, he hears a woman singing, and when she comes out of the stall, we see it's the woman from the elevator. He tries to make conversation with her, but it's about as smooth as sandpaper, and then gets a pop-up ad for porn, which he struggles to close out of, and the moment is killed. What do you guys think of the opening?
First of all, the only episode that director Euros Lyn directed of the series. But let's talk about the real prize in Lyn's repertoire, which is directing the season finale of Daredevil Season 1 and 2, arguably the best 2 episodes of the series. Lyn has some serious fucking directing chops. Everything here, I completely agree, is shot brilliantly. Especially some little camera trickery in the final set of scenes here that we'll talk about. But I mean, like here, the shots of close-ups of Daniel Kaluuya's Bing, his eyes as he's waking up, the vibrancy and the blues of his eyes. It was big time standout to me as a great shot, beautiful. What another episode basis. I mean, this was actually, yes, the second episode as far as the air date, but the very first episode to be written by Brooker and his wife Connie. This concept was actually credited as to getting the show kicked off and created. So the fact that it's so highly regarded in one of my favorite episodes, if not arguably my favorite episode, which makes a lot of sense because it feels very flushed out, which makes sense if it was the first and called out the most. I mean, they probably spent the most time on it. Not a lot going on in this set of scenes review wise, just a lot of world building, which obviously has to happen in every single one of these episodes and Twilight Zone episodes, or any like this, since they're brand new stories every time. And I'm not complaining, but between the world building and almost zero dialogue from our star until 6 minutes into the episode, and it's just him saying, thank you. I mean, there's not a ton to dissect here unless you want to talk about me dying laughing when old dude's watching Wraith Babes and the subtitles has one of the girls saying licky licky. That had me fucking dying. I was laughing. And when Bing was trying to talk to Abby in the bathroom for the first time and the porn ad pops up, hey, regular user.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that fucking sucks. Also, how is this so far in the future, but the graphics on these video games are worse than what we have now? And I said that, and then I actually take that back because we have photorealistic graphics now in 2024, and my 14-year-old plays shit that looks like Minecraft from 1980s. So it's insanity, really. It drives me crazy. Go ahead.
Starting off, got to shout out another familiar face, my man Daniel Kaluuya. Man looks like he hates life waking up. Relatable, though. Black Mirror with another terrifying rendition of a futuristic life. Having to trade life points to skip ads to live, that's scary because I hate an ad. And wouldn't it be ironic if a Believe ad played right after this? Brian, make that happen. Mark that. Exercise giving you life points. That's cool, and it's true in real life, honestly. This guy, Dustin, acting like an animal right beside Bing. Can't believe it. Just to ruin the good name of Dustin, on our show. Unreal.
Oh, thank you.
Swiftly makes a move on Bing. Girl was aching for this man, and he totally plays her off. You hate to see it. Porno being all the ads is very realistic. It's crazy how popular sex, OnlyFans, and porn has gotten in this day and age. This video game experience on this giant surround screen, that looks awesome, and I would love to try that out, honestly. I'm only a few minutes into this man's life, and I hate it for him. Bing's life, it looks monotonous and unfulfilling as can be. Props to Black Mirror again. They do a great job with their settings, their room designs. I think the place looks incredible that he lives in. I don't understand why it costs life points to use soap in the bathroom, though. Shouldn't that give you more points in your eyes since you're killing germs? I don't know. That just stuck out to me. It's not a huge nitpick.
We have to buy soap at the store. We have to use our money that we work for.
Fair enough. But, your life, okay, that's a good point. Daniel Kaluuya going after a white girl, I'm shocked. Just kidding. Not a lot for me to take notes on, but I know this episode picks up at the end. It does a good job. It does do a good job of creating this monotonous life and setting, and they do a great job with it.
All right, Bing is back on his bike, alliteration aside, and his muse walks in. The girl that helped him with the vending machine, who's named Swift, that's a weird name. She notices him looking at the other girl and seems hurt, but his new crush, Abby, seems flattered. The next day, Bing helps Abby with the tricky apple situation in the vending machine, using the same trick and petri dish line that Swift used with him, cold-blooded. He then compliments her singing in the loo, but she says she was just singing so no one would hear her pee. He asks her if she's ever thought about trying out for the show Hot Shot. She says she'd die being on that stage, and besides, it's $12 million to enter. He says he'll give her the full $12 million. Simp. She says he doesn't want to use it on upgrades. He wants something real, and she finally says, okay, she'll do it. When he goes to purchase the entry ticket, it turns out it's $15 million, not $12 million. He does it anyway and gifts it to Abby. He skips another porn ad, and suddenly the penalty matters much more. He doesn't have that large surplus of merits. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy so much of this episode has no dialogue, and I didn't notice until this watch through, yet it portrays so much. I mean, just the start of this with having only 2 sentences the entire time having been said to Bing. Isabel Laughlin's Swift, she was Leanne in Harry Potter, by the way, but nothing she said before would tell you anything, in my opinion. But Bing looked back at Abby and Swift seeing it, you can see the disappointment on her face and can tell immediately that she has a crush on him. And so much of this episode is communicated through nonverbal communication, and I think that's really cool. It's really stand out. I think it makes the conversations they do have mean even more. No words are really wasted. Like this break room conversation between Bing and Abby, very deep. But even then, camera-wise, we think they're in this small little break room, but for the first time we get a shot of out the window and you get all the bike riders and just see how many there are. And at this point, we don't know that they're peddling what they're peddling for besides merits to run their life, but you get more world building without them flat out telling you anything yet. And with just this one camera shot. And I think that's crazy. But even just going back to the whole nonverbal communication thing, it's kind of like I Am Legend, where we talked about that, don'tgoouthere.com, where Kaluuya better be fucking good because he's on screen the entire time. And for a lot of it, it's just him. And like we've all said, he nailed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Kaluuya's great. I feel bad for Swift. You can feel her jealousy towards, was it Abby? Mm-hmm. Having Bing's eye. And now Bing is using the move Swift taught him to help his crush out. Ouch, my heart was broken for Swift. Like, down abysmal for that girl. Bing is either infatuated with Abby or sick of living. He's about to give away all of his life points to a stranger, essentially just to chase a dream. All right, man, you do you. We get good conversation between Bing and Abby, but there's not, it's kind of hard to take notes on, but like Brian mentioned, they're both phenomenal with their acting. I will say Bing looks rejuvenated and has a sparkle in his eye again with her around. I'm happy for him because at the beginning of this episode, he looked like just living life and not enjoying any of it. Still can't believe he damn near drained all of his points for her golden ticket, though. That's outrageous work. More unwanted porn ads, and they can't be skipped. My God, that looks like hell. That's all I got, though. Good set of scenes, but just not a lot going on.
I think that's what makes it so deep. I mean, he just didn't give it to some random girl. Like, he gave it to her because of something that was real. Like, he hasn't felt or seen or been a part of anything, quote, real in a long time. And I think he just jumped on the opportunity. And I think that's what makes it so deep for me anyway.
Yeah.
No, he had a crush on her.
I mean, that simp. Too.
Fucking simp. I'm just kidding.
All right, Bing and Abby are on the elevator when she has reservations about going on the show and asks if he can return the ticket. He says for her to man up. She's doing it. She gives him an origami penguin. My man spent 15 million merits on her and got a fucking origami penguin that he'd have to get rid of as soon as it's found. Gee, thanks. They get to the show, and after Bing gets a temporary tattoo on his hand marking him as a guest, they're led to a room where a large group of people are singing and stretching. Fucking nightmare. Luckily, Abby is chosen quickly, much to the dismay of another woman who'd been there a week waiting. Before going on stage, a show producer gives her a juice box, and that shit must have been strong because Abby felt it immediately. She's a nervous wreck, and one of the show's judges doesn't help the matter when he badgers her to show her titties. But once the music starts, she kicks her nerves and sings beautifully. The audience is composed of avatars of the other people we've seen earlier and many more, and Swift is a major hater. One of the judges stops her singing and says it's probably one of the best pieces of singing they've had this season. Then he turns sleazy and says he'd rather see her in an erotic scenario. The judges say there's no slots available for above-average singers, and they all want her on the erotic channel. Was it Wraith Babes? Bing tries to intervene, but is whisked away by security. She's mortified, but gives in and agrees to do it. And the next set of scenes is the ending.
Best group of scenes right here, in my opinion, my favorite. After some story building, yes, but admittedly pretty redundant stuff. You know, if they'd continued on with that, I think it would have made the episode drag on a bit, like I complained with Hang the DJ. But this one was perfect timing, I think, to push on and move the story forwards, and just some more just amazing damn camera shots with Abby being on the stage. It felt great. One complaint I had, though, nitpick if you will, her lip syncing was awful. Like, it didn't even look like she was singing that even a little bit. Like, the audio sounded like her voice, and it may have been Jessica Finley really singing, I don't know, but she was definitely lip syncing there, and it didn't look realistic whatsoever. And leave it to Black Mirror to give you a feel-good moment like that, and then just destroy it with this invitation to do porn. And with me shitting all over her lip syncing, by the way, I mean, the way that Finley teared up and got emotional on that stage coupled with the Stephen McKeon soundtrack. It was very, very powerful moment, I felt like.
Abby, 15 million points later, finally gives my man Bing some affection, holding his hand. Goodness gracious. Damn. Sensory overload immediately as they enter this waiting room with all this hooting and hollering going on. Lord have mercy, I'd have lost it. Dustin, I don't know if you got the same vibes as me, but I got some Midsummer vibes as Abby takes his medicine stuff and gets a bit loopy. She about to go try and win May Queen. Shout out to you. I don't know that winning May Queen might be just as bad as getting put into a porn thing. I don't know. And ain't no damn way I'm letting an AI cartoon audience member laugh at me and try and goad me into showing my boobs. What the hell is going on with this place? Abby, I thought she was just decent singing, but like you mentioned, Brian, it's like, ugh, I'm not trying to be a hater, but I will say I hated that her audition turned sexually. She deserved better than the humiliation she got put through. I felt bad for her. I felt really bad for her. She's getting a lot of pressure to chase something that she's not wanting to do, but it's her only way out. And this is quite symbolic for a lot of people in life, honestly. You got to do some shit you're not comfortable or don't want to do just to get out of your monotonous life that you hate. I do like how this set of scene ends with the look in her eyes, just broken and empty, and kind of paints a really good picture of the life these people are living.
All right. Before I get this last set of scenes out of the way, I've realized I spaced these horribly. I went by the time markers, not necessarily the content, because this is my most. Yay. Bing is laying in his bed playing with his origami bird for a minute, and then he tucks it under his mattress along with Abby's juice box. On his bike later, Dustin watches Abby on the Wraith Babes erotic channel when the janitor disrupts his experience again. Bing is playing video games in his room later, and we see his merit total is too low to skip the porno ad, and he's forced to see Abby in her debut. He can't even close his eyes. This is torturous. He wigs out and starts attacking the screen walls, shattering one. Excuse me. He picks up a piece of glass and cuts near his temporary tattoo on his hand. Later, he heads back to his bike, and we see his merit total is back up to over 500,000. Later in the cafeteria, he eats someone else's leftovers to save merits. He practices some dance moves in between pedaling and eating other people's food, and gets his merit total back up to 15 million, which he uses to buy a ticket to Hot Shot. He's the first person in the waiting room. And then we see it filled with hopeful contestants. They're all dancing and stretching while he stands stoically until he's selected. He says he's an entertainer. He's offered a juice box, but says he's already had one and brandishes Abby's. On stage, he says he's going to do a sort of performance and starts dancing to Rockstar by NERD, the theme song of the erotic channel. Mid-dance, he pulls out the glass shard and holds it to his own throat. He gives an impassioned speech about how fake the whole thing is, and it all boils down to fuck them. The judge that sent Abby off to the land of porn says he agrees, and he loved the speech. He wants to give Bing a stream where he can talk like this for 30 minutes twice a week. The crowd chants, do it, and we cut to the bike room where someone else is on Bing's bike, and we see Abby doing her porn and Bing doing his new show. When it's over, he pours some orange juice, and we see a wooden penguin figurine on his desk before he drinks his OJ, looking at his screen wall, which is much bigger than it was before, showing a forest, and the episode ends. What'd you guys think of the ending?
First of all, I didn't realize that was the same song for the porn channel advertisement that he was singing to until just then. And I've seen.
I noticed it because I love that song.
But just what a powerful ending too. I mean, now it's Kaluuya's turn to show off his emotional range. This scene with him being forced to watch Abby's erotic ad and not have enough money to stop it. Just the lack of soundtrack as he busts the glass, and you keep hearing it in the background. And I keep saying it, but I can't think of another word. It's just incredibly powerful. But I love the swerve as it makes you think it's over, but then you kind of get that Rocky soundtrack a little bit, and you almost get this training montage kicking in. And I guess it's not almost, it definitely is a training montage. And I'm glued to the fucking screen the rest of this episode. I mean, it has me locked the fuck in. And what a speech from Bing. I mean, such a statement on our ever-growing digital world. And again, this was 10 years ago, and it's still so powerful. But this is what I was talking about earlier with the camera choices. In that last scene, as the camera moves, that forest also moves relative to the screen. So it's showing you that was a real distant object and not a projection. This does not happen in any other scene the rest of the screen. So that indicates the forest is real. And that's what I read and got from that too and noticed this time. One thing I have several endings as well for the episode were considered and turned down. One showed Bing and Abby living together, both unhappy with their lives. Another would show Bing anxiously poring over the ratings for his stream after finishing it. Blah. Another ending would reveal that the bikes were not necessary to generate electricity and were not actually connected to anything. And actually, executive producer Annabelle Jones also commented that the viewer may believe this is the case anyway, so they didn't put that in there and just kind of let you think about whether that's true or not anyway. But that's it.
All right, my first line is not serious at all, so nobody take offense. I wonder how Bing feels paying all those points for her to get out the mud, and now she's in porn. I don't know, it gave me Adam 22 energy. But speaking of broken eyes and looks, shout out to Bing, man. I'm just kidding. Speaking of broken eyes and looks, Bing looks down horrendous at the lunch table. I felt terrible for him. Insufficient funds, something I know Brian and Dustin have never gotten close to hearing.
Oh, here we go.
Bing is now being forced to watch ads on his crush getting her shit whooped. Man is in hell. Oh, my God. I cannot imagine this. And I ain't even mad at folks snapping in his room. That was brutal. I would break all my TVs as well. Bing is going ham on his bike getting these points. Holy moly. They said earlier 12 million points was what, 6 months worth? How fast did he earn that? Like, my man he was Forrest Gump in that fucking bike. Big props, and I have seen Forrest Gump, by the way. Big props to Daniel Kaluuya in this scene on the stage with the judges. I thought he gave a great speech, and he did a hell of an acting job. Like, man was incredible. I think it's hilarious he got offered a gig as basically a streamer in 2024 terms. I think that's what they called it in this, too. But, man, went nuts, gave a great speech. Hey, you want to be a streamer? All right, sound good. I heard a certain line delivery. We're all in this together. You don't say. Okay. I wonder what that means. I genuinely wonder if Daniel still has that piece of glass as a collector's item personally. I think I would have kept that if the set would have let me. That would have been cool to keep forever. I thought it was an interesting episode, well acted, but it wasn't my personal favorite.
I know one thing.
I still get a decent rating, but it's just a little slow.
I don't want to keep that fucking origami penguin. I'll tell you that much. All right, guys. You guys have any fun facts?
I've got two. You got any, Nico?
Nah, I don't have any.
Charlie Brooker stated that the idea for this episode originated from his wife, Connie, when she remarked that he'd be happy in a world where every wall was a screen. So, so would my kid, Connie, so I get that. The song Anyone Knows What Love Is heard again in the season 4 episode Crocodile. Also in that episode, the hotel receptionist refuses to give out the name of a guest, citing a scandal involving a rent boy and a judge from Hot Shot. So the talent show from this episode, a nice little Easter egg there.
Yeah, I just got one. The judge's name on the show Hot Shot are named Hope, Charity, and Wraith. This is a spin from the Bible verse, 1 Corinthians 13:13. And now abideth faith, hope, charity. These three. But the greatest of these is charity. So I thought that was interesting. All right, what do you guys have for final thoughts? Okay, I'll go first. Really good shit here. Kaluuya was brilliant, and I like the themes of the story. We're all on these, stationary bikes of life, just doing the same thing over and over so we can afford to live. Technology is dominating our lives. And then the story of trying to make it famous. It's vicious. You're either not good enough or they make you sell your soul for a better life. And even someone who has the purest of intentions to change the system sells out for a bigger piece of the pie. Best episode yet to me, 9.5 out of 10. Would have been higher, but I wanted Bing to make a stand for Abby and get her out of the situation somehow. And the whole Swift storyline to me didn't really hit because it, didn't amount to anything. So that took it down just a notch.
I'll go next. Great acting, great setting. Only issues I have with it, I just feel like it's a little slow and like the overall story is just not as interesting as the others. My personal favorite one, I can't remember the name of it, was the Josh Hartnett, Aaron Paul episode. That one was really good. Like that's more my style. This one was just a little too slow for me, but I'll give it a 6.75.
6.75.
It was still really, really well made and acted.
To me, the monotony or how slow it was, like I think that was really done intentionally to show the monotony of life. Like it's the same shit every day, man.
They did that for sure.
Yeah.
That life looked awful.
Well, like I said in my closing, I think this is just such a statement on our ever-growing digital world. My favorite thing that Bing said during the speech to the judges, the same thing still rings true all these years later, probably more so towards our government. Fuck you for sitting there making things worse fuck your spotlight and your sanctimonious faces. Fuck you for happening. I loved it. This is my highest rated episode of the show so far. And honestly, I haven't taken this away from any other episode that I watched. I wish that I could see more of this world built in this episode. Like, I would love to see a movie. I would love to see, like, can he call Abby once he gets out? Like, could he meet up? Can they have, I don't know. No, there's so much to this world that I'm just like, what the fuck? I have so many questions, but I gave this one a 10.
Oh, nice.
Damn.
All right. That gives us a composite of 8.75. Internet Movie Database is at an 8.
All right.
Hell yeah, brother.
All right. And then we'll go ahead and announce have we been doing that, announcing the next 2 episodes?
No, but go ahead.
That way, in case the listeners want to watch along.
Absolutely.
The next 2 episodes we'll be covering are Season 2, Episode 2, White Bear, and Season 4, Episode 1, USS Callister. These 2 set a high bar to me, so we'll see.
I think you'll like those 2 as well. But who knows? I don't know. I hope you do.
I don't know if I've seen those yet. I've seen a few of them that we've done before reviewing them. Any final thoughts, guys, before I just conclude it all up? We appreciate y'all listening. Thank y'all for listening to DGOT the series. It's a lot of fun. We really enjoyed doing it. We'll be back next week with those 2 episodes Dustin just announced. Appreciate y'all listening.
Bye.